Welcome to our presentation on the Liberal America, analysis of factors that affect the Democratic Party's support, presented by Pol242Karlovac2013.
Analytic approach. Our research question aimed to look at what factors affected the support for the Democratic Party during the 2012 presidential election. The dataset used was the ANES 2012 survey, and we will use both regression analysis and hierarchical regression to determine if support for same-sex marriage, support for abortion, and support for corporate taxation have an effect on the strength of liberalism and thus support for the Democratic Party, and if isolating for age as a control variable has any effect.
For our research question rationale, we saw that 58% of voters stated that the status of the economy was their primary issue before the national election. The unemployment rate was at 7.8% in November of 2012 when the election was held, and voters from the range of 18 to 44 in age voted for President Obama at a rate of 56%. What this shows us is that age played a huge factor in the way President Obama was elected in comparison to Governor Romney.
Dependent variable reliability analysis. For our dependent variable, we constructed an index which looked at the strength of liberalism in the United States. Our indicators asked respondents their personal views on defense spending, their personal views on liberal conservative self-placement, personal views on environment versus job payoff, and personal views on healthcare insurance, which were all on 7-point scales. Depending on the respondent's answer would suggest that they are more liberal or more conservative. Our index gave an alpha score of 0.7513, suggesting that there is a high correlation between the indicators.
Our hypothesis and rationale. For our first hypothesis, we state that support for same-sex marriage will lead to support for a Democratic Party. Karmi and Merkin analyze how, over time, the Democratic Party has been able to change their position on same-sex marriage and has been able to garner the youth support to win the White House, especially under President Obama. For our second hypothesis, we state that support for abortion has led to support for a Democratic Party. Page and Shapiro state that, especially after the benchmark case in 1972 with Roe versus Wade, the progressive ideals of social policy have been accepted by the American public. Our final hypothesis states that support for corporate taxation will lead to support for a Democratic Party. Weiss and Arlen state that corporate personhood has a theory that if corporations are considered people under the American tax code, they should be treated as people, thus they should be subject to the same income tax as everybody else.
Correlation matrix. Our correlation matrix resulted in all positive R values, which shows that those who support gay marriage, abortion, and corporate taxation are likely to be stronger liberals. All of our results were statistically significant. Gay marriage yielded an R value of 0.4586, which in some cases can be considered a worrisome relationship. However, in this case, we believe it is an excellent relationship, as gay marriage is a very liberally forward concept and therefore an excellent indicator if someone is a strong liberal. Abortion yielded an R value of 0.3857, indicating a strong relationship, and corporate taxation yielded an R value of 0.2306, indicating a fairly strong relationship. An interesting relationship occurs between abortion and gay marriage, yielding an R value of 0.4229. Again, this could be a worrisome relationship in some instances, but because both of these ideas are very liberally forward concepts, we believe that is an excellent relationship. Multiple regression analysis. After running our multiple regression analysis, the regression shows that our results were statistically significant and could not be due to a sampling error. The results also indicate that all three of our independent variables, gay marriage, abortion, and corporate taxation, have a positive influence on the liberal support in America. Gay marriage had the strongest effect with a b-value of 2.151 and a beta value of 0.331, while corporate taxation had the weakest effect with a b-value of 0.960 and a beta value of 0.168. The R-squared value of 0.28 indicates that our variables account for around 20% of variation within support for liberalism in America.
For our elaboration hypothesis, we believe that support for same-sex marriage and abortion while running a hierarchical regression should result in an interpretation. With more members of the youth voting for a Democratic Party, age may factor in support for social issues. In terms of support for corporate taxation, the result should be replication. As previously stated, economic issues were the most important priority at 58% of the electorate being concerned about it.
Hierarchical regression. After running our hierarchical regression analysis, it can be seen that age has little to no effect on our independent variables. Gay marriage experiences the strongest effect, where in the multiple regression model, the b-value was 2.144, and in the hierarchical regression model, the b-value drops to 2.059. However, this is not more than a 1/3 decrease, and therefore indicates that it is replication instead of interpretation. Abortion experiences a slight increase to 1.043. However, again, it indicates that it is replication over interpretation, and the b-values for corporate taxation remain constant, indicating replication. The adjusted R-square value does not change much again, and indicates that our variables account for around 28% of variation within liberal support in American society.
For our elaboration discussion, our hypothesis for same-sex marriage and abortion proved to be incorrect. We saw that there was no significant change in the b-values, thus indicating replication. However, for our hypothesis for corporate taxation was correct. We saw that age did not have a direct effect on the b-values, indicating replication. These results suggest that the status of the economy remains the most pressing issue in the American electorate. The status of the economy therefore affects the views on social issues, and as a result, age has no significant effect. For further research, examine the effect of other possible control variables and if age has an effect on the views of social issues in other countries.
Conclusion. Our multiple regression analysis suggests that same-sex marriage, abortion, and corporate taxation are positively correlated with support for liberalism in America, and therefore support for the Democratic Party. Our hierarchical regression result of replication suggests that age does not have a significant effect on how same-sex marriage, abortion, and corporate taxation were correlated to liberalism in America. The result of this regression suggests that economic issues are still the most important and pressing, and affect the views of social issues within Americans. Therefore, to garner political support in America, American political parties should put a focus on both economic policies and social issues rather than focus on one over the other.